Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is just going to be about my most embarrassing stories ever. I've gathered a few of my most embarrassing stories. They're in no particular order whatsoever because I really can't decide which one is more embarrassing than the next. I'm just basically going to tell them all to you today, throw myself under the bus, literally expose myself and see how that goes. If you do like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. The first embarrassing thing that has happened to me is asking a boy out. I know this doesn't sound like something that is extremely embarrassing. I was rejected and this was my first and only rejection I have ever had. I think I was in like year 5 or 6 at primary school. I had a friend and we were really close. Like people used to make fun of us because of how close me and this guy were. I kind of mistaked friendship for liking someone. I thought I liked him and he liked me back, but we were just friends. Just said,
oh, I really like...
And my friends were like, oh my god, like, go and ask him out. And I was like,
okay.
We did the usual thing where I tell my friend to tell his friend that I want to go out with him, and then he tells his friend whatever the answer is, who tells my friend, and then my friend will tell me. So at the end of school, she ran up to him and she asked his friend, Madeira would like to date you. He was so confused out of his mind. He didn't even know I liked him at all. Yeah. Long story short, Madeira didn't get the boy and she's totally okay with it because he turned out to be a... whoa. Just whoa. But I was never butthurt of it. Like the next day I got over it and I was like...
oh, I accidentally asked you out, just so you know. Accident.
You know? I told my friend to tell his friend to tell him that. I got played a trick on and I didn't. My next embarrassing story is... I cringed so hard when this happened. I'd only found out after how embarrassing it was. At the time, I didn't really think about how embarrassing it was. I was at work and a guy is from the same country that I am. Well, I'd heard his accent and I was like,
oh, are you from South Africa?
Yeah, I am. Like, whereabouts are you from? So I was like,
oh, Johannesburg.
Let's call Johannesburg like the area of Coburn. So he's gone to me, oh, well, whereabouts in Joburg? Let's say I've said Coburn and I've said,
oh, just Perth.
I basically said that I was from Coburn and then he said, where in Coburn? And I've said Perth. Obviously, his reply then was, wow, you've been here a really long time, haven't you? And I was like,
yeah.
I went home and I told my parents because the equivalent of what I'd said in South Africa was basically what they had told me, or it's what I had gathered from, and I realized I had mixed up the two different words together. I said one word which started with the same letter. I thought it was that word, but it wasn't. So in theory, I was right, but what I said was completely wrong. Like, I thought I knew everything and then I didn't. The next story is a little bit gross. I had a crush on this boy in like year 6 or something. He had basically showed me this song. It was called, if I said it, I would have to monetize. The monetization on this video would just, I just can't say the title of the song. When I was in year 6, I never said any of these words and he showed me it and he liked it and I was like, well, okay. So I pretended I knew the song. I was like,
yeah, I know the song.
To impress him, I had put the chorus lyrics on Facebook, like as a status. Lyrics were so crude. There were so many disgusting words in there. I was at my friend's house at the time and her older sister, who was in like year 12, had come into our room and knocked on the door and said, Madeira, that is absolutely disgusting. I suggest you take that down right now. Your mum would not like that. And I was just like, my heart was beating so fast. Other people were commenting on it like, did you get hacked? Like, what's going on here? You know, like you shouldn't be saying these words. I thought I could impress him and then I was like, oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing. I have to take it down right now. I took it down and the next day at school he had said to me, oh, I saw your status. And I was like, oh. He was like, you probably shouldn't have posted it, you know, it was just a song I showed you. And I was like,
Yeah.
Bit late. One of my next embarrassing stories happened about twice. In high school, we used to have a netball program. I was in this netball program. I had a pair of netball shoes and they were kind of, I just didn't like them. They weren't cool enough for me. I wasn't into them. I would go out and get the newest Nikes. I had bought them and I didn't bring my old shoes. It's quite obvious that if you're in a court, you'd want to wear in your new shoes before you actually play a game in them. It was during lunchtime and they had opened the gym so that everybody could come in and see. That basically means half the entire school was watching us for this one game. I could not stop falling on my face. I was falling over every 5 seconds. It was because my shoes were so they had so much grip on them because I'd never worn them before. Every time I tried to run, it would stop me and I would just stack it completely. Even some boys who were older than me were calling out oh my god, get up, do something. And I was like,
I literally can't, I'm falling on my face, stop screaming at me.
Could not even move my feet. I was like a duck. I had 2 left feet and it was just so terrible. And of course it would have to be the one game where the whole school is watching. And by the time we were on the 3rd game, I had scratched up the bottom of my shoes so much that they were finally okay to wear and I could run in them. Everybody had left already and then I started to actually play a normal human being with some kind of athletic ability. Relating to this same story, with the netball program there is a corresponding rugby programming. Usually the rugby boys would train outside, but they trained inside because it was raining. The netball girls were doing a drill. You have to run at each other, pivot, go the opposite way, and the coach would throw the ball to whichever one she decided to. I was versing one of my friends who I was having a little bit of an argument with at the time. She was really good at netball, yeah, she was. Obviously, she had a lot more strength than me, that kind of thing. Mind you, I was a petite little size freaking 4 in high school. Not that I still am not, I still am, but anyways, we both ran at each other and bumped into each other, but obviously her being more steady and strong, she had knocked me out of the freaking way. This is how I faceplanted. I just looked up from the floor. All these boys were just staring at my face and all I could hear was and I just looked up and I have never jumped up so fast in my entire life. I sprung from there. I resurrected. I was just hello, I'm fine, it's all good. Everybody was talking about it. I was so embarrassed. Everyone knew about it and everyone was laughing about it. I laughed about it as well. But still, I was kind of that's so sad. The end of last year, I was going on a cruise with my boyfriend and my family. I'd gone into a shop to go and find some nice outfits that I could buy for this holiday. I was trying on an all white bikini. Now the thing is, when I had walked into the change room, I had just pulled the door behind me. I had had the bottom on and nothing else, and I was about to put the top on. The guy who works there monitoring the changing rooms, he just opens the door and shuts it so fast, and he goes to me, just next time don't forget to lock the door. And I was like,
what do you mean? I did?
I realized that if you turned the knob, the door could open, so I had to close it and then turn the lock as well. I didn't know how to do that. It was so complicated. I ran out and told my mum and she was like, well, whose fault is that? It was mine, but still, he should have maybe hey, is anyone in there? But he didn't. One of the next embarrassing stories is something that actually happened to me literally 2 weeks ago. I have always ordered the same drink from this juice bar and it's got little berry seeds in it, and every single time without a doubt the berry seeds end up all between my teeth and they're all black. So I thought, I better get something different. So I was talking to my friend. She had told me you should get this drink called the King William. I had gotten it mixed up with the words Prince Albert. Now, a Prince Albert, as some of you may or may not know, is a piercing on the genitalia. I'd walked up to this juice bar and I had said,
hi, can I please get a Prince Albert?
The girl just looked at me and then I had realized what I just said and I wanted to bury myself in the juice. The next story may be sensitive to some viewers, aka boys, because I will be telling a period story. It's not extremely embarrassing because nobody actually found out about it, but if they did, I guarantee you my life would probably be over. I was at school, I was sat at this desk. At this particular classroom, there was some weird chairs. I had shorts on, I had underwear on, I had a pad on. I was sitting down, doing my work. I wasn't even meant to be in that classroom. At the end of the class, I got up. I was the only person in the entire class of like 12 people that was sitting on this side of the classroom. The only one, because I wasn't meant to be in this class. It was like right in front of the teacher's desk, and I looked on the floor and there was just a puddle, yay big, of just pure blood. Dark red blood. It looked like somebody was murdered in there and drained alive from the roof. And their blood dripped down into one big puddle. And I was like looking up at the roof like, where the flip did that come from? Because it wasn't me. There was nothing on me. And the next class started coming in and I was like, oh shit, I gotta get myself out of here. And I grabbed my best friend and I was like, emergency, like come here now. Then I ran to the bathroom and I asked her, I was like, is there anything on my shorts? Like what, is there anything there? She was like, no, there's like nothing there. Okay. There was no blood on my legs, nothing. Everything was fine. I looked down at my shoes, my white shoes. There's just blood splashes all over my shoes. To this day, I still can't tell you where this blood came from. The teacher would have been like, this is the first class of the morning and only one girl was sitting there. Like, of course he's gonna think it's me. For the rest of the entire year, I could never ever look that teacher in the face again, because every time he looked at me, he was kind of like, hello Madeira, like he totally knew it was me. I didn't even know if it was me. So yeah, that was really freaking embarrassing. Anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope me embarrassing myself made you all feel a little bit better about yourself. I don't know how I feel about myself. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.